Good day. This is another tutorial video for NIMS, our Nursery Information Management System. In today's video, I would like to discuss scheduling. Again, this video will be split into a part A and part B. The first video will deal with setting up the activities and the schedules, and then part B will deal with the daily scheduling and the reporting. So to start off with, what would happen is you would create an activity list. Okay. Now, a lot of these activities are linked or similar to your adjustments and your movements, but they are not your adjustments or movements. Your adjustments or movements are derivative. We record a number of plants, etc., a link to those, whereas the activity list is to tell you, okay, now you need to go and do an adjustment for grading, and then of course you would enter your adjustment, and that's where you would capture your numbers. The activity list is simply there for the scheduling part. Okay, so I've knocked up a sample activity list here, and this would be your master activity list that would be used by all batches. Okay, and all clones or seed lots. Okay. You would normally put it in, and don't worry too much about the ID. Again, we do use this ID to identify the activities, so that later on you can add new ones, and not a good idea to ever remove activities, because again, these activities may have been used in past schedules. So if you remove them, then your older schedules would actually not report very well, because we look for activities that are non-existent. Okay, so not a good idea to delete, but you can always add and grow. The sort order is very, very important, because that's the sort order in which you want activities to occur. So for example, I noticed when I set this up, we didn't have any movement activities. So let's say, for instance, we wanted to we wanted to be able to schedule movements. Okay. Yes, we do want to insert this because we want it right in the beginning. Okay. And let's say that's move from reaching greenhouse. Okay. Um, and well, let's make this more of a code. RG move. Okay, and this is move from reaching greenhouse. Okay. This normally, if I remember correctly, occurs about 21 days. If I remember correctly, let's just have a look here. 28 days. Okay. Let's just double check another one. 21 days. Yeah, there we go. Okay. But it could be 21 to 28 days. Okay. So perhaps here you could actually put in 21 to 28. I'll explain to you how this works. This is all guideline stuff. Okay. You can then sort your list on that, and away we go. So again, as I say, not a good idea to delete from this list, but also if you don't like what you've called that, you could say, okay, hang on, we don't want routing greenhouse move, we want move move RG, okay, as a descriptive, as the code instead, okay, or simply MRG if you really want to get cryptic, and then that would stand for move from routing greenhouse. Okay. So this, yeah, you would list all your different activities. Your next step would be to go and set up activities per clone, very similar to where we've set up your time frames in your areas by clone. Okay, so do we set up your schedules by clone. So again, in this example, we've set up some, but I'm going to create a new one. We just go down here, and we click on new blank record. Okay, let's stick with CP10 because that's what we've been doing. For just descriptive purposes, let's call that CP10-1 B. Okay. When you select the schedule, it will concatenate the clone with the ID number, and it doesn't show this code, but maybe at a later stage we'll actually put this code in instead. Now again, as I said, the auto-populate is probably the easiest option. What that simply does is it goes and fetches all the information from your activity table and puts it into the schedule. Okay. From there, you can now go and edit specifically for this schedule. And let's say you didn't want pruning, or you didn't want a third PQI, you could actually take that out for this clone. Again, if you make a mistake and you actually do want it there, you can always put it back in. But then you would have to put your days and stuff in. Okay. Right, so basically what you do is you set up these schedules. As you've noticed, you can have more than one schedule per clone. So this should give you a little bit of freedom and flexibility for any sort of exceptions, and you simply set these schedules up. Okay. Now, what's important to remember as well, okay, is that these schedules are now linked to your batches. Okay. So if you remember correctly, when you entered your batches, you went and selected, not sure that's a funny batch that, but you went and selected your schedules over there. Okay, so you can see now there's two schedules. There's for CP10, there's 1 and 19, and in this case you selected 1, so schedule 1 will be applicable to this specific batch. Okay. And that's basically setting up your schedules. It's relatively simple. One just has to remember that from the master activity list, you set up your individual schedules per clone. You can have more than one schedule per clone to allow for exceptions or variances. And then these schedules have to be linked to the individual batches. Okay. In the second video, we'll now take this information that we put into the master files and the master tables, and we will show you how this comes together in planning your daily work in the nursery. Thank you very much for watching.